finish 8. 8 isn't as long a class as 7 was, so we should have plenty of time to do it. I have an extra pen. I have a pen. Oh, I really want to. So, let's do prayers in English. Janet, can you do them? Mm-hmm. Oh, and welcome Claudia, who's with us by Ustream tonight.
Hi, Claudia.
Oh.
Okay.
Here is the great earth, filled with the smell of incense, covered with a blanket of flowers. The great mountain, the 4 continents, wearing the jewel of the sun and moon. In my mind, I make them paradise of the Buddha, and offer it all to you. By this deed, may every living being experience the pure world. Idam Guru Ratnam Mandalakam Nirnayami. I go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha until I achieve enlightenment. By the power of the goodness that I do, in teaching and rest, may I reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha until I achieve enlightenment. By the power of the goodness that I do, in teaching and rest, may I reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha until I achieve enlightenment. By the power of the goodness that I do, in teaching and rest, may I reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. How's everybody doing tonight?
I think I'd like to change.
Sure, go ahead. Oh, we can exchange homework if you have somebody to exchange with. Okay. How are you guys doing with that, with the homework? So, how did the meditations go this week? How were yours, Bonnie? Putting you on the spot.
Honestly, I haven't been able to do them.
Any of them?
I'm meditating, but I haven't been able to get a meditation in on anger, or the source of it, or why other people seem to suffer. But I have been up until this point. Thank you.
That's good.
So that's my answer.
Okay. All right, well, maybe you can do a couple next week. This week.
Will. Yeah.
Okay, great. How are your meditations going, Diana? Being that this class is on meditation.
I'm meditating, but I am behind 2 weeks in this class.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm behind with the reading, the homework, and the meditations.
Okay, well, the meditations have been the same for a couple of weeks, so that makes it a little bit easier. Yeah. A little bit easier. Jana, how are you doing?
I'm thinking about it more than I'm meditating on it. I find it hard to I'm not very good at contemplative meditation yet, so I just haven't been able to go that many places with it. I've thought of some sources of anger, wanting things to be my way and being too self-identified and habits and things like that, but I don't know how to take it much further than that, so I keep
because you're worried about
the same thought.
Are you thinking that you're thinking too much when you do that?
No, I've never learned any methods for, and I don't know if there are, or if it's just your individual.
For analytical meditation?
Yeah. So I just keep going over the same thoughts, and I haven't really come up with anything new. So I find it frustrating. So I'm thinking about it other times, but I'm not meditating on it in the morning.
Sometimes clues will come to us at other times that we can then bring in to an analytical meditation, at least that I should speak for myself. That's how it works for me, if nothing's popping up.
I mean, I'm watching, it certainly comes up at work a lot, so I'm, watching my reactions to things, and it's in my thoughts, and, trying to be mindful of it, but it's hard in meditation to...
Yeah, it can be, but let me see what I can do as far as seeing what I can, if I can help get you some information that would be helpful, if I can be a conduit that way.
I mean, I don't know if there's anything that, is out there that people teach, or if it's just sort of, you figure it out for yourself.
I'm going completely blank right now, so what I'm going to do is I'll research it, okay?
Thank you.
Sure. And Kevin, how about you?
It's been very good for the most part. I think I've had a lot more focus with the anger issues, there PTSD, things like that, that I was taught meditation in the past. So this kind of just reinforced a lot of that. And I think during walking meditations, I get a lot more of my answers after the fact.
Yeah.
And they will bring that back in. So I think the walking works good for me on that end.
Good.
And then able to bring that back in.
It's easier than
Sometimes
staying still?
No, I can sit good, I guess that's the term. But it's just sometimes with the walking, it's easier for me to analyze and kind of tear it apart, and then bring it back to sit. That for me, that helps out a lot. Yeah.
Hey, does anybody else have any analytical meditation methods that they could share with Janet? And you can think about that, and next week I'll bring it up again, okay?
I think that's analytical meditation is a nice one to have a guided meditation around with lots of space in between. And the meditation that we did on Sunday morning at 222, Gail did the Heart Sutra, gave us all a copy, and then we meditated, and did nothing like tackling the big ones. But it was good.
Great. Bob, do you want to say something about your class on Saturday that I'm really looking forward to?
Sure. It's called Missing Teachings of Yoga, and it's probably just part of a series of courses about how yoga works and looking at it. So it's a yoga philosophy class, and we'll see who shows up and we'll figure out what we'll do from there. But it'll look at some of the things that aren't really thought about when yoga came to the West, and it was stripped down to basically a movement activity and left out all the other components. And so that can be, how does that relate to Buddhism? How does that relate to why I go to a yoga class? I feel better, but I don't know how it works. I don't know why that is. I just do, or those kinds of things we'll look at. We'll just see. It's one of those things that you have to see who shows up and what's in the room to decide. So.
Cool. And so it's not asana.
No, it's a philosophy class.
Yeah. Cool.
And looking at, it's kind of like a funnel. There's so much information that could be put into that class, and we're only going to have 2 hours, so we'll just see what actually happens that day. But it could be anything along the lines of what are the other limbs, what are the most important actual teachings of yoga. We're probably, I'm pretty sure, look at a couple of verses from the Yoga Sutra, maybe something from the Bhagavad Gita. The one asana verse in the Yoga Sutra, we'll look at that for sure. We'll start with it in Sanskrit and move on from there. And
cool.
Yeah.
I remember, do you want us to pre-register?
No. It's like anything. If you say you're coming, then we'll go, oh, look, there's a bunch of people coming, as opposed to, I don't know, nobody registered, nobody said anything. We'll see if anybody shows up, and it's fine. There's no registration required.
I think registration's a good thing though, because then you got skin in the game. So if you're feeling lazy on Saturday, you'll be like, oh, but I registered, I gotta be there. So keeps me honest anyway.
Yeah.
So well, great.
Yeah, we're gonna have somebody from Kansas coming via streaming.
Cool.
It wasn't planned to be streamed, but somebody asked. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Is her name Dorothy?
I don't know.
Actually, it's it would probably be the straw man, right? Who'd be
They all
better
would
at
be.
yoga? The lion would be the best at yoga.
Well, straw man, he had no
Yeah.
joints. He was pretty
Tin
weak.
man could really use some.
He could use some.
All right, let's get on with it. My mindfulness story this week is about what happened to me on Saturday night, where I have a little patch of bushes next to my parking that's on a side street, so everybody just throws their garbage in there. So it got overgrown this summer, and apparently there was some bittersweet. So it's dusk. I climb in there. I've already got some things in my arms. I climb in. I start picking up the trash, and then I turn to go out, and step out and step down the stone wall, and a bittersweet root grabbed my ankle, my bad ankle. And when I say bad, I mean I've had an Achilles injury for 1.5 years that I re-aggravated in early August, and then I re-aggravated it because I came stumbling out, almost doing a header. And it's funny because my chiropractor and someone else said to me, "Do you think you should be slowing down a little bit when you're doing these things?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm starting to get injured." So I haven't been mindful enough, so I'm going to be working on that this week and from here on out. But I wish I had a video, because it had to look ridiculous, because I came down the wall, across the street. There are these big jagged granite rocks that a neighbor who used to live there put in, and then there's a couple of bushes, and then there's a chain link fence. So I ended up leaning over the big jagged rocks and bumping my head on the fence. But I put the brakes on so hard, I just completely... So that's my little story of lack of mindfulness and how important mindfulness is when you're doing anything. So that's my bad. So let me go to class 7, if you can take those notes out. And where I'll give you a minute to get those out. We stopped at question 7. Question 7. So there's only one more question, but there's some more reading I wanted to do and a little unwrapping or unfolding. So if you could look at page 141 when you get to it. Good tea, Bonnie. Thank you.
Diana made it.
Oh, thank you, Diana.
We all made it.
Takes a village. So you there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Diana, can you read from the verse on page 141?
It's called the Living Cemetery. Our entire planet is chaos and filled with madmen created by the struggle of ignorance with a self. Your heart fails whenever you go to a burial ground and see nothing there but stacks of sun-dried bones. Why then is it you take such pleasure here in the city, a cemetery covered with bones and motion?
I think this is a great verse. A lot of visuals.
Especially for Halloween week.
Yeah, he's talking about, the way I see it, he's talking about how death is coming to us all. And so we are the madmen, and we're driven to madness by our mental afflictions. And we're all bones in motion, city dweller or not. All the while, where we're living, because everything comes to an end. And we'll lose our own bodies. Janet, you want to read on 140?
I don't have
You don't have it?
I forgot
Okay,
to bring up and just.
No, I figured that
forgot.
might be a little problem. Bonnie, can you read on
Is it
142?
142?
Yeah, the
Because
verse.
I'm totally missing 141. I have no idea it was 140, 142. But if you want me on 142, I got it.
142 is great.
If children find themselves unable to build up wealth, then as adults, what will they have to make them happy? If then they devote their lives to collecting money, they'll only get old. So what will they do with the thing they wanted? Some poor souls who live for things go and exhaust themselves completely, laboring until the day is done. They come back home and throw their bodies dissipated just like corpses on their beds and sleep.
Can you continue? I didn't realize it went on to 143. Or can someone else take over at that point, 143?
Some distressed are sent on missions and go through different sufferings far away from home. They have a craving for a woman, but in the course of an entire year, can't even lay their eyes on one. There are ignorant ones who, hoping to bring some good to themselves, sell themselves for some purpose. And without attaining the thing they wanted, they're driven on by the wind of meaningless work for others.
So, this is if you think money is of utmost importance to you in your life. You know, what Lamaji calls the dead-end job. If that everything, you know, if that's everything to you, and the goods that you can buy from it. Now, money has a place. I mean, we all need money. We all need to be well taken care of and feel safe, especially if we're going to be people that are going to be serving the Dharma and maybe spreading the Dharma as well. We really do need to be healthy and well and fed and all that. So money has a place to meet your needs. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying money is evil, but striving for it and it alone, of course, is a dead end, literally. So, I want to go on to question 8. Diana, do you have question 8 handy?
Relate the paradox of lifetime and money described by Master Shantideva.
So it's the paradox that if you're younger and you don't work for your money, to have something when you're older, you won't have any when you do get older. You'll have none to enjoy. You won't have enough to get by when you're older. But if you do dedicate your entire self to your money when you're younger, to making money, you'll be so exhausted, and what did he say? Throw yourself on your bed like a corpse at the end of the day, with no spiritual practice and no care for anything else. But when you're older and want to enjoy it, you won't be able to because of what you've done to yourself in the striving. So neither is a good alternative, either one. But if we can shift our priorities little by little, shanai, so that we want less money, we crave fewer things, and we want more time for meditation, for practice, and we want more happiness in our lives, and we want to work towards contentment with what we have, and we want enlightenment. That's going to change. Those aren't small adjustments. Those are rather large adjustments given the culture that we live in and that we didn't grow up with the Buddhist practice, with Buddhist tenets in our life. We were exposed to other things, and other things are predominant in this country. But Lamaji says no one ever said on their deathbed that they wished they had spent more time at the office. So, and I'm sure we all know someone that we've lost who may have been in that position, that they realized maybe they should have had different priorities at the end of their life. And it's very sad. It's very sad. But we can do something to change that for ourselves. So, any questions on any of that? Because that's the end of class 7, and I can go on to 8 now. Was anybody not here last week? Any of you folks?
Claudia wasn't here.
Claudia wasn't here, yeah. And Craig's not here tonight because she borrowed him. I say that with love. So, all right. So this class is called The Importance of Love and Compassion. But the subtitle that I've given it is Exchanging Self and Others, because that's what Master Shantideva goes over in this reading. So, let's see. I'm going to go ahead to the reading on page 155. Do you have that? Do you want to read?
We spend our days in gentle walks and thoughts of helping others, here in the silent peace of the forest, flowing in soft breezes. We live doing as we please in our mansions of a wide flat rock, cool with the touch of moonlight and sandalwood scent of the holy, living deep within the woods of peacefulness, completely emptied of conflict and afflictions.
Doesn't that sound good? Sign me up.
We live where we please, as long as we like, in abandoned houses or caves, or else at the foot of a tree. We have given up the suffering of owning and protecting things. Carefree we live, relying on nothing.
So I just find this to be one of the most beautiful passages in this entire scripture. And we're so fortunate to have it and rest in our native language. So big thanks to Geshe Michael Roach for making this available to us. The amount of good karma that it costs to have this kind of thing is tremendous. So we must have done some good things in a previous life. So this is Master Shantideva's version of one type of a retreat place where we spend our time thinking of helping others. I love that line. So where have we got around here for retreat?
Mrs. Brown.
We do. And that's another type of a retreat place. And you could kind of even say that it's an abandoned house that we take over, because it is kind of abandoned in the winter by the family that owns it. You know, not completely, but it's got heat and everything. But the idea here is like the old school approach to just leave everything behind and go off with nothing, but the simplest things needed to get by. And it's proven. It's well proven that this helps with spiritual development. And it's something that I have done some of. The longest retreat I've done is 11 days. But I'm going to try to do a 21-day in January. But I do know that Mrs. Brown's has got times open for weekends, for an overnight, and Lama Jesse is going to be doing a day long there on, is it the 14th, I think?
16th.
16th, thank you. The sign-up date is the 14th, by the 14th. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Are you going to do that, Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good, cool.
The last one was really well received. People had a great
Was it lovely?
experience at it. Yeah.
Yeah, how many people were there?
I don't remember.
No?
Not maybe 8, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
And it's available during the week too. I think a lot of people don't think of taking a day off in the middle.
right. Yeah,
What day is it?
Saturday the 16th. So that might be a nice thing if you haven't had a retreat in a while. to do one day. And Lama Jesti's such a wonderful teacher. And he's become more and more immersed in shamatha meditation, so I think it'll be very helpful. So, as for going off and leaving everything, the 3-year retreatants at Diamond Mountain, they actually, I don't know if they sold some things, but they gave a lot of stuff away, so that they were down to the clothes on their back, which they even got rid of those because they didn't want to have the associations with their clothes. So they bought new clothes, just what they needed. And so, because you look at the old sweater and you think of the boyfriend you took it from, or the gift from so-and-so, or I did this in that outfit. So for a clean slate, that's what they did. And and they did what the last couple of lines say in this verse, that they have given up suffering of owning and protecting things. So, which is a pretty beautiful sentiment. So, the reason that they wanted to do this is through meditation, to uncover the true nature of the mind without all of the distractions and responsibilities and mental afflictions flaring. So their world is limited toward that end. And they want to, I don't know, I think they're all helping each other, even though they're in silence. So they're realizing their intent to help others, and will be able to do so, I would imagine, maybe a lot better than I could after they get out of this retreat. So, just because meditating on that is one thing for 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days, I think it's got to have some sort of incredibly profound effect. So, everything they gave away will all eventually lose anyway. So, so everything will go, and it will be ripped from us forcefully if we're not able to let go of it of our own accord at the end of our lives. And again, we don't know when that will be. So it's good to start decathecting from stuff now. There's a practice that I've heard someone doing where they found something in their home every single day to give away. And I'm sure some days they gave away love, or they gave away something, intangible, but that they made a practice of making sure they gave something away and trying to make it a physical thing every day for a year, because it serves two purposes. You're giving, you're expressing generosity, but also that you're clearing out your space. You're whittling it down, so that you've got fewer and fewer things to worry about, to protect, and,
To inventory.
Yeah.
So I heard it expressed that way once.
Yeah, everything you own takes up some mind space.
Is somewhere, rattling around your brain that you're, where is it, and and all that, and that's a lot to keep track of.
It is. It is. It's kind of mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
So, a silent, solitary retreat is great practice for this, so that we're ready for death. So we're with ourselves, just us alone, without the objects and maybe the relationships and some of the triggers for mental afflictions. Not that they don't come up in retreat, but there's a lot less friction in retreat. So our options are to let go or to have everything ripped from us. So learning how to let go is a tremendous thing to work on. And retreat is one way to try to work on it. That's just one of the benefits. And it's our choice. There's no option for keeping anything, not even our body. So how do you want it? You want it painful or you want it smooth? And the world will go on without us, whether it is that we die or that we go into retreat. So that's for sure. That's for sure. The world's going to carry on. So let's go into reading on page 157. Diana, you want to read?
The subject is what to meditate upon, the service of others. Think of these considerations and others as well. Contemplate the benefits of isolation. Put an end to useless thoughts and meditate upon the wish for enlightenment. From the very beginning, exert yourself in the practice of treating others and yourself the same. When the happiness and the sufferings are the same, then you will care for all just as you do yourself.
So this is where Master Shantideva introduces equalizing self and others. And now that we have the motivation to meditate through studying these verses and so on, here's what to do meditation on. So I'm going to give you a little Tibetan. Dak Shen Nyampa. Dak means me. Shen means others. And Nyampa means exactly the same. So the translation that Geshe Michael gives us is treating yourself and others exactly the same. So, I think most of you guys have heard some about this already. This isn't a new concept at all. So this is wishing and working for others' happiness as you would your own. And it could also be called, when you achieve this, the first moment of real bodhicitta. And it's critical. It's critical as reaching the direct perception of emptiness. It's the foundation of bodhisattva-ness, if you will. So it's one of two main scriptural methods for getting the wish for total enlightenment, is exchanging self and others. And the other is the 7-step method for achieving bodhicitta. And I think that's covered in Course 7, the Bodhisattva. Do you know, Bob?
I forget where it is.
Okay, it may be Course 7, the Bodhisattva Vows. So this exchanging self and others is Master Shantideva's big shtick for getting bodhicitta. Janet, can you read question 1?
Got it. I got it. Master Shantideva describes the joys of living in forest solitude and then urges us to spend our time there in the woods in gentle walks and thoughts of helping others through developing the wish for enlightenment. What method does Master Shantideva recommend first for meditating upon this wish?
And so this is the love and compassion part. You know, as in the importance of love and compassion. And the title of the class 8. So he recommends learning to treat ourselves and others exactly the same. So I'm going to do a meditation with you now. We didn't do any last week, so I got 3 for tonight if we get to them.
I hope the phone doesn't ring in the middle of it.
What?
My phone
Is it gonna buzz or ring? Is it gonna
I
vibrate?
turned it down, but it's going to ring. I don't.
Can you put it on vibrate? Because you'll hear it.
If I do this thing, if I turn it off this way.
If you flip it up,
Okay.
it should vibrate a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the ring's
We
on.
can always practice peripheral awareness.
That's right. Right, it's just a sound. So this meditation from Chris is exploring the line of myself. So if you want to get into a comfortable position,
Is it exploring?
the line of myself. So put your feet flat on the floor, relax, and get into a comfortable meditation position. And let your body relax and fall still. And watch your breath for a few moments, trying to keep the mind focused on one single point at the tip of your nose, wherever it works on your nose. Watch the air as it moves in and back out. Now think about how you normally define the line between yourself and everything else. What is you and what is not you? Find this line that separates you from all else. Is your body part of you? Normally we identify very strongly with our bodies as ourselves. Now think of their body and where it came from. And go all the way back to your conception when your body was just the joining of sperm and egg. So this body comes from parts of 2 other people. What part of the sperm from your father or the egg from your mother belong to you? Think about all your body needs to sustain itself. Food and water, and fresh air to nourish it. And then they transform and become part of the body. What about those substances as you? Now go back to watching your breath for a moment. Watch the air as it enters your nostrils. It's inside of you. At what point does the air become part of you? Isn't it the same air once it enters the body? If you think about it, we have the habit of seeing our bodies, which are composed of all sorts of outer things, as part of ourselves. That line you've drawn around the body in your mind and labeled me is completely artificial. When we realize that the self we're used to thinking about is just an artificial idea in our mind, then we can play with the possibility of changing it. So let's see if we can widen our circle of our self. Pick one person that you're close to and decide, they're a part of me. I'll take care of them exactly as I would take care of myself. Imagine what it is this other person wants, this other you. What it is they need. And try to figure out the hopes and dreams of this new you. And think about how you can make each of them happen. Make a plan in your mind how you're going to go about fulfilling all your new desires. And really believe that they're your own. Take a nice long deep breath in. Slowly let it go. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So that's meant to help us expand that line, and I'm not sure if it's that meditation or another one, but you could certainly do it with this meditation. Is start out with somebody you're very close to, then maybe go to somebody, do another one where you're neutral about that person, you're not close or enemies or anything, you're just kind of neutral. And then the really hard one is to do it with someone that maybe you don't like so much. So those are great exercises to really expand, because if you can do it with somebody that you don't like, you can do it with everybody. So, Kevin, can you read on page 159? How are you doing, Janet?
Good, I'll be here in about 15 minutes.
Okay, great.
There are many separate parts, the hands and all the rest, but we dearly care for them all as a single body. Just so shall I work for the happiness of every different being, treating all as equal, all as one, thinking of their joy and pain as if it were my own.
Okay, now I'm going to do another meditation, and should be able to get it in before Janet has to go to the guys. I really like this. Mama Jessie did it in the class I took, and I
love the one you just did.
took. Well, this is a great book. And we used to sell it here. I don't know if we still have it, but it's a lovely book. I use it a lot.
Just send that one in an email.
Hmm?
The title of the book, I can write it down.
The Tibetan
I
book.
can't see it from here.
Okay, the Tibetan Book of Meditation, by Lama Christy McNally. And there may be copies over here, I'm not
Bring me
sure.
one next week.
What's that?
I can get one for next week.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Probably some from the summer retreat stock.
Okay. If anybody else wants one?
I have it.
You have it? Yeah, okay. All right, so now get comfortable again. Close your eyes. And think about your normal day waking up. I don't know if I want to get up. What will I wear? What will I have for breakfast? If I have a partner, are they needy and getting in my way while I rush to get ready for work? Should I check my email? Will I be late for work? And then you go to work or wherever it is you need to be. And then you think, what's the best way to get there where the fewest people are going to get in my way? You get there wherever it is you go. You look around at the other people there. I wonder if they're going to ask something of me today. I have plenty to do and hope no one gets in my way. Hope things go smoothly for me today. With no surprises, and I hope I'm treated well and listened to. And the day ends, and at some point I go home and have a meal. What am I going to eat? I hope there's enough food for me. if I have a partner, I hope we eat what I want tonight. I want to eat what I want. And on and on. So now put that aside and wake up in the morning again. Try to imagine what it would be like if we cared for others as much as we care for ourselves. I wonder if this is a good time for me to get out of bed for others, for my partner, my kids, my coworkers. Is it helpful? What kind of clothes should I wear to be most helpful to others? What am I going to eat and drink right now that'll be helpful to others? I wonder if my partner or my children need anything from me this morning. How can I make their morning go more smoothly? Should I check my email? What will it do to my state of mind? Is that a good idea? Will the service I may give by looking at it be worth the possible agitation I may experience as a result? Maybe it'll make me a bit late. What would be best for others? When I get to my destination and see the other people there, do I actually care what they're going through? What they may want for the day? Does it even cross my mind what they want? Try. Imagine that you care as much about them as you do yourself. Imagine that you care about the moment-to-moment happiness of the people around you. If someone is grumpy or irritated with you, think about when you're grumpy or irritated. There's a source for your irritation. It's the same for them. Feel sympathy for them, not irritation. Say, how can I help you? What can I do for you? Look into the eyes of the people you see in the workplace, in your family, around town. Try to get a sense that behind those eyes is a complex of thoughts and feelings, just like you have. And they just want to be happy and not unhappy. imagine what it would be like to care about their happiness as much as your own. Try and smile while you're doing this meditation, because this is happy work, not guilty work. So smile. And think how cool a practice this is. To paraphrase the Buddha, all my happiness comes from caring for others, and all my pain comes from taking care only of myself. Imagine what a beautiful world it would be if everyone cared about others as much as they do themselves. Now open your eyes and look at the people around you. They're your whole world at this moment. And feel your heart opening. See, this is practice. So when you notice that you've only been thinking of yourself, and you have that little awakening, note it and rejoice that you realized it. Just like with meditation, samey. So don't beat yourself up. Be happy. Because the more we realize it, the more we're doing it. So all of Master Shantideva's references to retreat in the woods, they don't mean necessarily that you should abandon your life and your family to live under a tree. Although some people have. But ask yourself, how does this apply to my life? How can I apply these ideas? Because a lot of small changes can be made. And think of all the little shifts in perception in that meditation. Ask yourself how you can make changes that will benefit others. Because it's not going to happen by itself. You ultimately have to decide. And sometimes our lamas tell us something specific that they think that we should do for ourselves, for our own good. And, they may challenge you with it. But the thing is that you ultimately decide what you're going to do and how you're going to deal and how you're going to keep your life the same or change it. Because actually nothing stays the same. Everything's changing all the time. So better to change with it than to have it changed. It's just like the death thing, You either let go or it's very painful. If you try to keep your life exactly the same as it is, it's not going to work. That's going to be painful because everything's changing. So Bonnie, can you do the reading on page 150? Actually, I think it's 159.
There are many separate parts, the hands and all the rest, but we dearly care for them all.
Well, I think we just did that.
Yeah,
We did. But I'm looking at there's a indented paragraph. It's not the verse.
I don't see
how it could.
the right thing
Yeah.
to do to act towards the happiness and sufferings of others exactly the same as I do toward those of my own. The reason I say this is that the number of living beings is absolutely infinite, and there's no way that I could ever think me about every one of them.
So think back about how you think about parts of the body. how many infinite, well, cells may seem infinite, but the body has many, many parts. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and maybe thousands of parts. And let's go back to, he was talking about the hands. I personally am very protective of my hands, like kind of neurotically, because I work with them and I have to keep them free from injury and, you know, cuts and things like that. So I always put lotion on them, I'm always massaging them, and I wear gloves when it's 50 degrees out. Look kind of silly, but you know, I groom my nails and my cuticles, and I'm just very, very careful with them, and you know, it's because I think of them as me. You know, my hands, I probably have more of an emphasis on it because of what I do, that my hands are me. So just as we think of all the various parts of our body as a unified whole, we can learn to embrace all beings the same way as the whole of humanity and other beings, other sentient beings as well, other than humans. And we can embrace them as part of the me that we see. So if we can embrace them, we can embrace their unhappiness and their suffering, and treat it as our own, so that it's something to be rid of. So that's exchanging self and others, and it's integral to the Bodhisattva aim. So, can you read question 2, Kevin?
Relate and explain the metaphor that Master Shantideva uses to counter the objection that we can never learn to think of all the different kinds of beings as me.
And the metaphor he uses again on the many parts of the body as one whole, and how we care lovingly for our body as we see it as a whole. And if we can see the body as a whole, we should be able to see others as part of me as well, like I said. And we need to be able to, or we can be able to, treat them lovingly and compassionately as we do treat ourselves, or we should treat ourselves. And so as we work to remove our unhappiness and suffering, we can work to remove theirs as well. So I've got another. This will be the last one, another meditation. Just in time, Janet. And this is Mama Christie's version of the practice of giving and taking. So get comfortable. Get your feet flat on the ground. Nice, slow, long breaths. And then see if you can let your body fall still. And then focus on your breath for a few moments to get the mind settled. And call to mind someone you know who is in pain. It can be a physical pain or a mental one. And go to them wherever they are right now and sit facing them. You can see them perfectly, but to them you're invisible. You're coming to them in secret. Look inside them and see their pain. Pain takes the physical form as thick black smoke. Curling through the body. You feel tremendous sadness that they're experiencing this pain. And decide that you need to take it from them. You must take it from them. So we're going to use our breath to help them. As you breathe in, picture this black cloud condensing into a tiny little black ball at their heart. Then on each successive in-breath, pull this black ball out of them. See it rise from their heart to their throat, and then up further, coming out their nostrils. So pull it through the air until it's sitting right in front of your own nostrils, but not touching you. Look into your own heart now. See a tiny diamond light. This is the light wisdom that can destroy all pain. And the diamond light is nestled in a beautiful red rose at your heart. Focus again on the black ball of the pain that's just in front of you. And decide that you must destroy it completely, both for the sake of the person across from you, for the sake of ridding this world of pain. One quick in-breath, draw the black ball inside you and down to the diamond light in the rose. As soon as the light and the ball meet, there's a brilliant flash of light, and the ball is completely destroyed. The light gets brighter and brighter and fills your whole body. As it gets brighter, it starts to pour out from your pores, from your skin, so that you're glowing with white light. Look back at the person across from you. All their pain has miraculously disappeared, and their face is now peaceful and serene. on rays of diamond light that shoot out from your heart. Send them every good thing, anything they've ever wished for and more. As each ray of light touches them, see them getting happier and happier until they are also filled with radiant light. So this is the meditation that at first it may be easiest to do with someone you feel close to. But the next step is to try to do this using someone you don't really know at all or that well. And after that, if you really want a challenge, try it on someone who you're not that fond of, or that you have some tension with. Because you can have some really amazing results with that. And take another slow, gentle breath in through your nose and back out. And when you're ready, just bring your attention back to the room and open your eyes. I just find that to be the most beautiful practice. I do it while I'm working and I love it. So, is everything okay, Janet? I get it all.
Sorry.
Please don't worry.
No, he was going to have an air gun.
He had an air gun? Oh, I didn't, no, it didn't bother me.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah, no, it was fine. So if we can read on page 161, has anybody got that? The verse? Kevin, thank you.
Suppose you object and say that your pain never hurts the body of another. Even so, your pain is something you can't bear for just one reason. You grasp into yourself. Just so, even though it's true, the suffering others feel never come and strike you, still it is your suffering, since you'll find them hard to bear once you grasp to yourself.
So there's two objections here, or the objection is a two-parter. If my body gets hurt, others don't hurt. And when they get hurt, I don't feel the pain. So, in answer to that, think of when, if you have a child, when your child gets hurt, or even your pet, you do feel the pain, maybe even physically, but definitely emotionally. So that's a way that we can feel pain when another being is hurt. Or, we can see things on TV, on the news, or hear on the news, or whatever, of people being, think of the people being hurt in Tibet, and the circumstances, and I think we can feel empathy and have a lot of emotion towards those kinds of injustices. But the people that are really close to us, it's easiest to feel that kind of pain and feel their pain. So simple thing is we just have to expand that out to everybody, those we like, those we don't like, those that we don't know, and in all different cultures. It's a simple idea, but it's not easy. So, Janet, you want to read question 3? Do you have that?
How does Master Shantideva address the objection that we could never learn to treat ourselves and others exactly the same, since their pain does not hurt us and our pain does not hurt them?
So, because we have the habit of conceptualizing ourselves as a quote-unquote me, our pain and suffering is unbearable to us because it's all about me. But by the same token, if we can conceptualize other beings as being part of us, we can feel their pain and suffering, just like we would for our child or our pet. Kevin, can you read on page 163?
I must stop the pain of others because it's pain. It's like the pain that I feel myself. I must act to help all others because they're living beings. It's like the body that I own.
So this is this gets into debate format. These are proofs that Gyaltsab J wrote up the proofs on further down on page 163, proof number 1. Janet, can you read that?
Consider the pain of other living beings. It is right that I must stop it because it is pain. It is, for example, like the pain that I feel myself.
And Bonnie, you want to read proof number 2 on below that?
It is something right that I must act to achieve whatever helps and bring happiness to all others, because each person out there is a living being. It's like, for example, the way I work to bring happiness to the body that I own.
So, the debate format starts out with the word consider. Consider this subject. You pick a topic. And then you make an assertion. So I'll just use the first one. Consider the pain of other living beings. And you make an assertion, and here it is. It is right that I must stop it. And someone might ask you, why do you say that? Chichir in Tibetan. And you make a explanatory statement, like, because it is pain. And then you give an example. It is, for example, like the pain that I feel myself. So that's all debate is. It's very simple. It takes a while to get used to the format. I'm putting a plug in for debate on Saturday mornings because I haven't been going to it for a bit, but it's a wonderful, wonderful way to develop your how do I want to put this? Your logical problem-solving process and in answering questions about, because many times people will say, tell me all about Buddhism. And you can say to them, why do you ask that? Meaning, can you tell me a specific question that you want to know? Because it is tough. I mean, how many people here have said, tell me about Buddhism, like just as an open-ended question? Has everybody had that question asked, basically? Or am I the only one?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a tough question to answer. So debate is very helpful in spreading the Dharma because it helps you get a format to deliver some information that may be helpful to that person. So that's the way I look at debate. Anyways, you may be able to help the person by explaining something smoothly and logically. And some people really bristle at the format because they want to ask other, they want to interject and stuff, but it's really quite a beautiful thing to watch it. I look forward to at some point seeing it in action in the monastery, with the monks debating one another. So
Probably be helpful in analytical meditation too.
it probably would. You can ask yourself, cheer, why did I think that? So the question 4 is give the 2 logical proofs that Gyaltsab Je designs from the root text of Master Shantideva to prove the reasonableness of compassion and love. So they're paraphrased. The first one is exactly like what Gyaltsab Je wrote in page 163 or 164, proof number 1. And the second one is paraphrased a little bit. So, in the answer key. So, what I want you to do is to just look at those and see the format and try to answer it, sticking within the format of the, and you might want to write this down, the topic, consider this. The second one is the insertion. You make a statement about the topic. Your opponent might then ask you to expand on that. Let me back up. The second one is the assertion. It's not a statement. The statement comes later. So they may ask you, why do you say that? And so you make a statement. And then you may give an example. In these proofs, they give an example. Is that clear? I tripped in there. So it goes, consider this topic. An assertion. The third one is not a statement. Beg your pardon. It's all coming back to me now. It's a reason, which makes a lot more sense. Can you see? You can't see in the book. No. So 3 is reason and 4 is example. And the examples are not always given, so in a way it's optional, although you may find it is necessary in the debate you're having. Okay. Is that clear? Okay. Sorry about the confusion. So, Bonnie, can you read question 4?
Give the 2 logical proofs that Gyaltsab Je designed for the root text of Master Shantideva to prove the reasonableness of compassion and love.
Oh, I already did that. I'm sorry. Can you read on page 165?
Okay. Given the fact that both myself and others are exactly the same in wanting happiness, what difference could there ever be between us what reason that I work only for happiness for myself. Given the fact that both myself and others are exactly the same in not wanting pain, what difference could there ever be between us? What reason that I protect myself and not all others?
So, so I think these questions are, he's kind of asking them rhetorically because he's already explained that we can feel others' pain and we should think of them as ourselves and work toward their happiness and their freedom, liberation from suffering. Can you read question 5?
What are the two very famous reasons that Master Shantideva gives us to show that it is very wrong for us to work to get happiness only for ourselves and remove only our own suffering?
So, reason 1 leads to reason 2. And the first reason is that we're no different from any other living being in wanting to have happiness and to avoid suffering, because all the inhabitants of this planet, it's all we want. And I don't know, I would say same about other planets too. But here in the desire realm, in the human realm, in the samsaric realms, in the animal realm included, of course, and the Preta realm. Those are the two main things: wanting happiness and wanting to avoid suffering. So we're all the same. And the second is that there's no logic to working only for our own happiness and to avoid only our own suffering without taking into account the same wish of others. So that's pretty much the class. The meditation, I believe, is exactly the same. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody want to do a debate?
You ask.
No, I
did ask.
That was kind of a rhetorical question because I had a feeling that, because we're not going really deeply into this, and as you see, I'm not an expert on it, on debate. We do have an expert on it? No.
Yes, we do.
So again, if you're taking the class for credit, I'd like you to do this meditation, the analytical meditation on anger and its sources, at least 3 days, and to meditate a total of 5 to 6 days this week if you can. And make sure to take 1 day off. So, so Janet, you said prayers, right? Were there any questions on anything? No? Okay.
What's the reason?
Huh? What's the reason?
Yeah. You wrote down reason. What's the reason?
Because. Why? What should it be?
Anything you put forth is a reason.
Oh, what is the reason? You were asking the definition of reason. Is anything that you put forth is a reason. So because is a reason. Because I said
Because why?
Just because.
You say that in Tibetan. You say chichir. Because why? Okay. So we'll do first.
Here is the great earth,
Filled with snow and incense, covered with a blanket of flowers, the great mountain, the 4 continents, wearing the jewel of the sun and moon. In my mind, I make it over the paradise of the Buddha and offer it all to you. By this deed, may every living being experience the pure world. Idam Guru Ratnam Mantulakam Nyayatayami.
By the goodness of what
I
I
have
have
just
done,
done, may all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom, and thus gain the 2 ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom make. Sarvamangala. A little dedication. May we all learn to exchange self and others, to care for their happiness as we do our own. Thank you for coming tonight.
please stay.